We are live. We're live. We're definitely live. So, for those of you who were here before, welcome back. For those of you who have just joined, well, welcome. I had an internet issue. My internet just completely crashed. And I personally blame Kathy. Probably. She probably sabotaged my internet. Kathy? Well, today we're going to be talking about things that I mentioned before, and we'll get back into what I said we were going to talk about. And also, as before, get your questions ready. This time, hopefully, the internet doesn't crash, and hopefully it's okay. So, sorry about that. I apologize deeply and sincerely. But anyways, we are back. Hello again. Hello, everyone. I forget what I was in the middle of talking about, but suddenly it just said, this stream has died. And so I had to go and fix the internet. I had to turn it off and turn it on again. And, or rather, Kathy did that, and I waited. And now it looks like we're okay. So, guys, I'll get to your question, Mohammed, since we just came back again. I know you probably already did, but I would really appreciate if you could hit the like button, because then people will see, oh, he's back. It's not broken anymore. And do the usual thing, subscribe, and hit the link in the description if you're interested in improving your English. All right? All right. My question killed the internet. Yeah, maybe. Mohammed's question is so good it crashed all of the internet in New York City. That's how good it is. Great question. It's an internet killing question. No, it was Kathy. I'm sure of it. Hey, Sergio's back. Sorry about that. Nelly, sorry about that. Sergio and Paulson, I'm really glad that you guys are back. That is wonderful. If it crashes again, I'm going to give up for today. But I hope it doesn't. I think we're going to be okay. We'll see. We'll see. Those watching later are probably thinking, what is this? I can see that the video's 2 hours long, or an hour and a half long. It doesn't. But right now, in the present, I don't know what's going to happen. Do you understand, future viewers? Okay. I hope so. Well, I want to talk about this chatbot. So let me just sort of get back into that. So there's this app. The app is meant to help English learners with their spoken and written English, their listening skills, and even to teach them things, right? Now, it's a bot, so when you're chatting with this chatbot, it is a robot. It's not a person. So keep that in mind, and we will do a version of the Turing test for this thing to see how good it is. What's the Turing test? Well, the Turing test is a test that was created by a man named Alan Turing a long, long time ago to evaluate whether or not an artificial intelligence, AI, is at the level of human intelligence, okay? Now, I have a feeling that we know how this one is going to turn out, but let's just try it anyway, okay? So I've got this app called Andy open, and I'm going to be playing what Andy says so that you can hear it. And Andy. I'm going to be saying what I type to Andy. You have to type, it looks like. So you have 4 headings at the top: chat, exercise, grammar, and stats. Exercise, all premium. You have to, it looks like you have to unlock premium in order to get access to those lessons. 35 grammar lessons, unlimited vocabulary, 20,000 words, more than 20,000 words. And this is for 1 year, $29 for a year, and $6.99 for a month. So you can decide whether or not you think that's expensive. I don't know. Now, there are some lessons available, and we're going to look at that as well. But I want to chat with Andy first to see how real it is. We'll evaluate that part, And then we'll get into the grammar lessons. The grammar lessons. Okay? Now, the stats tell you how many words you've written, and they give you some other things like how often you've chatted with Andy, and so on. Okay, so let's try. I'm going to say to Andy, hi there. And Andy says Andy's typing, and he says,
Here.
Say again?
Yeah, I'm always here.
Yep, I'm always here. So yep is a very casual expression. But in this robot voice,
Yeah, I'm always here.
yeah, I'm always here. Very robotic.
I'm always here.
Minus 10 points for robot voice. Like Siri, Google, Google Assistant. I don't know if you use Google Assistant. It's very natural, right? Compared to that, not even close. We'll look at Google Assistant too, I think. Now, how about we ask a question? A very basic question. Do you like pizza? Do you like pizza? Andy is typing.
I know very little about pizza. Can you tell me something?
I know very little about pizza. Can you tell me something? I'm sorry, but if you don't know about pizza, how can we have a conversation? I talk about pizza every 5 minutes in conversations, no matter what the topic is. I don't know, Andy. Well, let's see if I can educate Andy. It is a round food with cheese. It is a round food with cheese. Let's see what Andy says. Andy is typing. Oh my God. Andy says,
Nice. We have this in common.
nice. We have this in common. What do we have in common, Andy? That pizza is round? It's not that we have that in common, Andy. It's that pizza is that. What does that have to do with we? Now, he says, do you like chatting with me?
Do you like chatting with me?
What if I say, no, I find you quite boring? This is what I'm writing here. No, I find you quite boring. Andy says, why? What should I do better? Your replies aren't realistic. Okay, your replies aren't realistic. Let's see what he says about that. Let's see what old Mr. Andy says about that. Okay, I'll ask my programmer to...
Okay, I'll ask my programmer to improve me.
All right, well, that's actually not bad. I'll ask my programmer to improve me. At least Andy is taking feedback. Let me ask another question. Andy, can you tell me about your day? So I want to know what Andy did today. Andy, can you tell me about your day? Very standard, very normal question. If Andy can't answer this. I love reading. Something special happens when author spends months or years of his life writing a book. What?
I love reading. Something special happens when author spends months or years of his life writing a book.
What? I love reading. Something special happens when author spends months or years of his life. So first it's saying authors are men. Then when author, instead of when an author, right? One of an author, spends an author. So actually, Andy, the English teacher bot, is giving me incorrect grammar. Minus 10 points. Come on, Andy. That's ridiculous. I'm going to say, Andy, I don't care. I'm a little negative. I'm a negative person. I can't help it. Andy, I don't care. Andy says, got it. Why do you want to learn English? Okay, well, that's a good question. Now, I think I can choose one of the grammar lessons. So let's try one of these. I'm going to go over to grammar. I'm going to choose the much and many and start that. And it says much, many lesson, please. Andy says, sure. Okay, the rule is very simple. You should use many with countable nouns, many cats. That's correct. And much with uncountable nouns, much water. You can't count water, but you can count cats. 1 cat, 2 cats, 3 cats, etc. Do you understand? All right, guys. There's an issue here. We don't say much water. Andy is wrong. The English teacher app, chatbot, is wrong. Nobody says much water by itself. That's misleading. Now, you could put it in a phrase. You could say, how much water? Right? Or I don't need much water. If it's in a phrase, yes, that's okay. But this is kind of suggesting to me that you can just say much water. Now, you could say a lot of water by itself. If you say a lot of water, tons of water, by itself, fine, correct. By itself, much water is not right. We don't say much water by itself. It has to be combined with things like too much water, so much water, how much water, not much water. It's always combined with something else. It's never alone. So I find this misleading, and I'm confused, and I'm disappointed. Minus 10 points. So even an English lesson that's been prepared and written is not correct. Come on, Andy. I'm just going to say that I understand and see what he says next, but I'm severely disappointed. Sorry, guys. How blank eggs did the hen lay? How many eggs? That's a very easy one. Perfect, says perfect. 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 How do robots speak? Perfect. Jane hasn't got many or much time. Time is uncountable. Much time. Much. Answer is much. Super. Super. Okay. What's the next question? Samantha has many as Bruce. As many as Bruce. Yeah. Correct. The answer is the correct answer is much. Wait. Oh, did I read it carefully? Samantha has. Oh, yes. That's right. I clicked the wrong button. There wasn't much traffic on the motorway. There wasn't much traffic on the motorway. All right. Yes. Okay. How long is this quiz? Wait. Oh, I think I clicked on the wrong thing. I keep messing this up. Do you know? Oh, right. The correct answer is many. How milk do we need? How much milk do we need? Right, says Andy. How many questions are there, Andy? Are there strawberries left? Are there many strawberries left? Super. I got it right. 2 cooks spoil the broth. Okay, I think I get it. Right. How plates do we need? How many plates do we need? Correct. All right, I'm getting bored. This is very easy. It's just sort of fill in the blank things. If you're learning English, it might be better to do a more robust learning platform like Duolingo. Duolingo has modules that you go through to learn English from your language. It's customized in your language. I have nothing to do with Duolingo, but it is a very good language learning app if you want to learn in the sort of robot way with a chat partner, a chat bot partner, and modules that you go through, fill in the blanks, quizzes, little games. Duolingo is very good at this, and everything in there is correct. Right? They're very, very good. This seems to have some mistakes, seems to be a little bit off. The robot voice is not very realistic. The conversation doesn't flow very well. Some of the things sound okay, some of the replies, but some of them are very awkward and strange. I have to give this, if I'm reviewing it, a pretty low score. I honestly don't recommend using it. I don't think it's very realistic. And you can just get those grammar lessons anywhere, right? For free. You don't have to pay for them. So, sorry, Andy. Not so good. Now, what about a realistic chatbot? I've said this before, but if you want a realistic chatbot, just use Google Assistant. Google Assistant is actually an extremely realistic chatbot. Let's just listen to the difference. You heard that robotic voice. All right, here we go. Oh, we just hold this. Wait, hold this down, right? Hey Google, could you please give me the weather report for today?
It'll be partly cloudy there today, with a forecasted high of 80 and a low of 66.
That sounds like a...
Currently it's 79 degrees and mostly sunny.
Should I wear a coat when I go out today?
No, today is not predicted to be cold. Expect a high of 80 and a low of 66.
Can you give me some good ideas about fun stuff to do in Manhattan today?
Here's a summary from Tour Scanner. 34 fun things to do in NYC, cool and unusual activities.
Okay.
1. Try indoor skydiving at IFLY Westchester. 2. Balance your mind and body at Air Ancient Baths. 3. Spend an afternoon at Modern Pinball NYC. And more.
Got it. So, if you're going to, I guess my takeaway would be, if you are going to, hold on. If your goal is to practice spoken English, and you're hoping to do that with a bot of some kind, then you're much better off using Siri, although Siri is not that great right now, or Google Assistant, and maybe Alexa from Amazon, although I haven't used it much, but Google Assistant is very good. She can answer many questions. She can give you information about almost anything that you can imagine and pull that information from the internet. Her voice sounds very natural. You can reply with voice. So I don't quite see the purpose of something like Andy. Now, you could say, okay, what about the lessons? Well, I think there was something misleading about the lessons. The lesson said that you can use much in front of an uncountable noun. While that's true, it didn't mention that it has to be combined with something else, and we don't just use much by itself in front of, for example, water. Much water. So even the lesson is misleading, and there was a mistake, a grammatical mistake, in one of the replies in the chat conversation. For an English learning app, I don't want that, right? I want to know that everything that I learn is realistic and correct, because otherwise, why would I use it? Now, what about the modules, the little lessons that you can get? Well, you can use something like Duolingo, which for a lot of it is free, and those are very professionally done lessons. Or you can find all kinds of free resources on the internet to learn those little bits of grammar, right? Those little sort of fill-in-the-blank questions that can give you an idea about how to use things like much or many. Or you can watch videos, YouTube videos. So I can't recommend Andy. Chatbot, Google Assistant. It's good. It's the best in the world. It's run by Google. They have the most data. They have the most technology. English learning? Find a place where you can get that sort of little stuff, those bits and pieces of information for free. That's my advice. Avoid it. I got to give it a big thumbs down. Sorry, Andy. Sorry, Andy. All right, guys. Well, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure that you subscribe so that you can see future videos, and also check out my full English courses in the links in the description. All right. Now you might be thinking, okay, wait a second. You just said get everything for free. Why would I buy your courses? Well, my courses are hours long and have comprehensive information on a focused topic in order, all put together in a way that's logical, that takes you through it piece by piece. The shortest course is 3 hours. The longest is 15. Very concentrated. And it's in-depth knowledge rather than little pieces here and there, how to use much and many. Very in-depth explanations. So there is a reason. All right. So thanks for sticking around for that, guys. I want to get to some of your questions. Let's see what I missed here. Take a sip of coffee. In my name, E sounds like A. Yes, but Sergio, my question is not about the E or the A. My question was about the G. I don't know if I pronounced the G or not. Should I say Sergio or should I say Sergio? That's my question. Is it a G sound? Is it an H sound? Don't be sorry. We don't leave you without having lesson. Oh, thanks, G. I appreciate that. I asked that because we don't use sentences that they are used in movies. I'm going to get to Mohammed's question, I think, next. Hopefully, Mohammed's question isn't so potent that it destroys the internet. It's a good question. I like it. It's not a piece of cake, Mohammed. May I ask you a question? What does it mean, the expression, the squeaky wheel gets the grease? Thank you in advance. That's a good question, Mohammed. I want to get to that one too, because that is also a good question. Okay. Well, a lot of comments that I missed here, but hopefully I'll get to everything. But let's go into Mohammed's question here, because it is a good one. Do movies help to improve, Mohammed says, do movies help to improve English language? And the answer, yes or no, would depend on you, not me, right? So if I say yes, then you might think, oh, okay, well, I just need to watch movies and I'm going to get better. Yay! But that's not what I mean by yes. Yes, if you work very hard and you use the movie as a learning tool and you pause it to write down phrases and points of pronunciation and words and sentence structures, and maybe even use pieces of it for shadowing to improve your pronunciation, then the answer is yes. If you just sit and watch a movie, you're very passively experiencing the content, right? So it's not that you wouldn't improve it at all, but it would be sort of like listening to a background conversation. It's going to be tough to actually learn real knowledge and improve seriously if you're just watching casually. So if you plan to use movies and TV shows to learn, you have to be very active and very diligent. Now, it's fine to just watch movies and relax and enjoy them. And again, you will get some pieces, some little things here and there, a feeling for some grammar, maybe a feeling for pronunciation. But whether or not you'll actually be able to use that right away is extremely uncertain, and I would say doubtful, and even very unlikely. I would say. So my suggestion would be to use TV shows instead of movies. Find one that's more modern rather than something like Game of Thrones. Pick something you enjoy, and then watch it carefully several times. The first time with subtitles, make notes, write things down, look things up in an English dictionary, and then, after a few times, maybe 2-3 times, try to watch it without subtitles. When you watch it without subtitles, you're focusing on the sounds, you're listening, you're developing your listening skills. That can be very good. Still taking notes, still writing things down. Maybe you copy specific parts of that TV show. You try to speak like the characters in the show. You try to copy their sounds. That would be shadowing. That can be a good method too. So it's all about how you do it. So the answer is yes, but, right? And otherwise, if people are just watching casually, I would say the answer is no. Not really. Not the best way to learn. So hopefully that answers your question, Mohammed. It's a good one. Thanks a lot, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button. That would be great. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the full English courses in the links in the description. All right. Good one. We got another Mohammed question too, but let's see if I can. Ayo. Let's pop up. Let's pop up this one. this is a good one. We'll do that one. And I do want to just kind of scroll through and make sure I didn't miss any crucial comments. Could you please tell me how to improve from intermediate level to advanced? Ooh, yeah. I would like to talk about that. How can I speak English good? That I will not answer. Too big. Too big of a question. Sorry. Can Google Translator be helpful to some extent? No, I don't recommend it. Use it if you need to understand a lot of text quickly. Don't use Google Translate to learn English. Absolutely not. Terrible idea. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Because it won't be natural. You're going to get a lot of weird stuff, and then you're going to be learning the weird stuff. When you learn the weird stuff, then you start speaking weird stuff. That's not good. Use it if you have a huge document and you need to know what it says quickly. What does this mean? Okay, I understand. I translated it. That's what Google Translate is for. It's not for telling you how to say things naturally in English from your language. That is not what it's for. That's what a dictionary is for, kind of, although there are many words that sometimes work and sometimes don't, depending on the situation. Right? Yes. Okay. Wow, so many good questions today. Yesterday, we were fewer questions. Today, we got so many good questions. So many good questions. See if we can get to all of them. I hope so. Okay. All right. Mohammed says, may I ask you a question? Yes. What does it mean, the expression, the squeaky wheel gets the grease? Thank you in advance. This is a good question. Now you might think, is that an English expression? The squeaky wheel gets the grease? Yeah, it is. It is. And I actually believe it's effective. It's a good strategy for certain things. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. We say this when we want to comment on an interesting phenomenon. The phenomenon is those who make the most noise get the most attention. Those who cause the most drama have the most focus put on them and maybe have their issues resolved more quickly. So while we're talking about a wheel, we're really talking about something else. So why is it a wheel? Well, let's say you have four wheels on your car. Maybe car is not a good example. Let's use bicycle. 2 wheels on your bicycle, because it's a bicycle. Your back wheel is squeaking, making a sound. Now, if you take your lubricant, are you going to spray it on the one that's squeaking or the one that's not squeaking? You're going to spray it on the one that's squeaking because that's where the problem is. That's the one making the noise. Why would I spray the grease or lubricant, same thing, on the one that doesn't have an issue? I'm going to spray it on the one that has the squeaky sound so that the squeaky sound stops. Right? Makes sense. Now, we take that and we apply it to all kinds of other situations. Those who complain the loudest often have their concerns met first. If you have 10 people and they all have problems and concerns, right? And 9 of these people are writing down their concerns in a very formal and polite way. I have a concern about the way that you... And one person writes a very angry a very angry letter. They write a very angry letter and many exclamation marks and underlines and circles. And then they shout at someone on the phone. Who are they going to help first? Who are they going to deal with first? The people taking the concerns. Who's going to get their concerns met first? Will it be the people who are most polite and respectful? Or will it be the loud one that's making the most noise? Unfortunately, the way the world works is usually it's the one that's making the most noise that gets their concerns met. So when we say the squeaky wheel gets the grease, sometimes we're just remarking or commenting on the fact that this is a thing. That sometimes you have to make noise and cause problems just to get noticed. Because if you just keep your head down and write down your concerns very politely, you will be in line forever. because the squeaky wheels will always be having their concerns met first. That's the idea. I use this strategy sometimes when I talk to customer service people. Sometimes, if I'm impatient and show my impatience intentionally, and I know people who are in customer service, don't be angry at me, I will sometimes be a little aggressive and ask for a solution more quickly because I know that if I do that, my problem will be resolved more quickly. Instead of saying, please wait, sir, we have many rules. I want to speak to the manager. Maybe I can then get my issue resolved more quickly because I do that, right? Sometimes, because you remember, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Sometimes you use that to your advantage, to be the one that causes a little chaos, to have your concern paid attention to. Now, sometimes this is used critically to point out that that's not fair. Unfortunately, the squeaky wheel usually gets the grease, so I have 3 kids, and usually the one who's the most talkative and always complaining about, that's not fair, you always do, he's the one who gets the most attention, and we give him the most stuff. I know it's not fair. So we're pointing out there that life isn't fair, and we pay attention often to the loudest voices. Or we want to fix the system. We shouldn't only give the best solutions to the squeaky wheel. Sometimes you call them the squeaky wheel. We should try to be fair and treat everyone equally. Maybe you're trying to fix that issue. So that's how it's used. I use the example of customer service and people making complaints, but you could also use it in families. You could also use it when you're in conversations. Usually it's sharing some sort of issue. Usually there's a problem that it's related to. It's a very common expression, and usually it is used to comment on the fact that this thing happens, whether we're trying to fix it or we're just noticing it. Very common expression. Very good question, Mohammed. Thanks a lot. Guys, if you haven't already, I would really appreciate if you could hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe, and also check out my full courses in the links in the description. Great question. All right. Hopefully that's clear. Mohammed. Wahid, I know you need to speak well, but framing the question as tell me how to make my English good is not a good framing of the question. It's too big, right? I would need to plan for 10 hours and speak for 10 hours more to answer the question. It's not a question that I can talk about in a live stream that you will be satisfied with, or that is a good answer to the question. Luke, could you please explain to me how I can use be plus supposed to plus to and be plus meant to? I will try to get to that one, but I do want to scroll up and make sure I catch any of the early questions too. Mohammed's question there. Okay. For example, if you're working in a company and you have a problem with your job, you have to talk to your boss and don't be afraid to solve it. But if you keep silent, you won't get that. Oh, what you want? Yeah, that's the right idea. Sometimes you have to go into your boss's office and say, I'm unhappy with this. Because, why? Because if you're quiet, no one will ever address your issues or even listen to you. Sometimes you have to be the squeaky wheel. I believe that. I think sometimes you have to remember that's just human psychology. Sometimes you have to become the squeaky wheel, even if you're pretending to be that type of person. Okay. Hey, what should I practice into listening so that I can understand absolutely everything? All right. Intense listening activity. This is a good one. Rod's question. Oh, and then Korchi has a question too. We'll get to Korchi's question. Drive me up the wall. Okay. Good, both good questions. Rod says, hey, what should I practice into listening so that I can understand absolutely everything. Now, actually, I was working with a student on this today, and I've been seeing progress, a lot of progress in that student's results in terms of listening skill. And it's because I suggested a method that I've seen work for a lot of other learners. So what's the method? Now you might say, oh, maybe I should listen to more things, and that's the solution. Well, you might have heard me talk about this before, but listening passively, casually, will only help you a little bit, and it might take a long time for you to really get used to listening to English, right? So listening to a 3-hour podcast is good. It's going to give you a good background. I suggest that you do it. But if you want to learn quickly, improve quickly so that you can really understand everything, you have to push farther. You have to do something hard and boring. What should you do? Instead of getting a 3-hour clip of audio, find one that's no more than 1 minute long, less than a minute. It should be something that when you listen to it the first, second, and third time, you cannot understand it. So if you understand 90% of what I'm saying now or more, you should not be using any clips from me. Okay? You should find one that's really challenging. Someone that's speaking very quickly, a presenter on TV maybe, a character in a TV show, an audio clip that's less than a minute long, that's fast, that's hard for you to understand. When you listen to it, if you can understand 10% or 15%, that should be okay. So it should be very difficult. So you're really challenging yourself. Maybe it's American English, maybe it's British English, maybe it's Australian English. It's difficult for you. Then you put this on repeat. You sit down for 20 minutes a day with this on repeat. You can slow it down if you want. Play it at half speed. Play it at 75% speed or full speed if you want to practice at full speed. That's okay. And you have on your computer some notes, or if you want to do pencil and paper, that's fine. You listen to that 1 minute clip or that 40-second clip, however long it is, on repeat again and again and again. And as you're listening to this on repeat, you're trying to write down any words that you can catch in order. You're trying your best to hear everything. Now, what you'll notice is at the start, those 10% of words that you do understand, you'll be able to get those down in generally the right position. What you will find as you go is that you'll be able to start to fill in other words. One, because you're starting to hear them better and your listening is getting a little closer to what it really is. You're sort of honing your listening. But two, you'll start to piece together things because of your knowledge of English. Okay, well, if they say 3 and I hear idea, I don't hear ideas. I just hear 3 ideas. I hear the word idea. I don't hear ideas, but I do hear 3 in front of it. Therefore, it must be ideas, even if I don't hear it. And so you're combining your ever-increasing ability to listen and hone, sharpen this, right, with your knowledge of English and what fits, where it fits, and how it fits. And you will find over time, 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, 40 times, 50 times, 60 times, 100 times, that you get closer and closer to what is actually being said. Now, you should be able to get to about 95% if you've chosen the right difficulty of clip. You can get up to, if you listen to it many, many times, up to about 95%. Once you do that, maybe have someone check it, have a friend listen to it, and see if they can figure out the rest of that. Then you can compare notes. But that's a way to do it in a focused way. It's boring. It takes time, 20 minutes a day, every day. But it is, as far as I know, the fastest way to improve and sharpen your listening. You can do it in a matter of a couple months. Let's say 1 clip per week. A clip a week for several months, different accents, different speeds. Indian English, American English, British English, whatever it is. And you're going to find that your listening gets better, gets sharper. Absolutely. So do that and let me know how it goes. Leave a comment. Let me know how it goes. It's a very good way to practice. And I've seen it work for many, many students. All right. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. And also check out my full courses, my full English courses, in the links in the description. All right. Good one. Good one, good one, good one, good one. Wahid, I am here. Yes. But I don't know if I can give a good answer to your question. Rod, I was wondering if you could please help me with what's the difference between of problem and issue. Okay, maybe we can get to that one. I mean, generally speaking, problem and issue are the same, but there are times when we say I have an issue and times when we say there's a problem. And it depends on the situation, although generally speaking, the meaning is the same. Maybe we can get to that one, but I want to get to some of the earlier ones. I want to try to go in order. Korchi's got a question I want to answer. Answer the question from Korchi. If I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, let me know. Jeet, of course Google is female. It'd be weird if Google was a dude. Hi, I'm Google. Korchi says, please, what does drive me up the wall mean? Now, we use the expression to drive me crazy. We say drive me nuts. We say drive me insane. And we say drive me up the wall. This is not just about frustration, although it's a kind of frustration. It can be either when you're very annoyed by something or very, let's say, upset because of some ongoing thing that continues to frustrate you over a period of time. Okay? Let's say it's a problem that you're facing and you can't figure out, you're a developer, right? You're working on your code. You can't figure out why this code that you've written is not working. Something is broken and you can't find it. And you fix something, still broken. Fix something, still broken. Fix something, still broken. Fix something, my code is still broken. All right. Now, in this case, we don't use I'm annoyed by that. Well, you are, but not in the sense of annoyed as in a fly flying around my head annoyed, right? This is a different kind of frustration. It is a frustration, and it's a continuing thing because I'm trying to solve this problem. I can't really solve it, so it's frustrating to me. It's bothering me that I can't figure out what the issue is. So, in this case, we might say, this issue I'm having with my code is driving me up the wall, suggesting that I'm kind of starting to lose my mind. Now, not really, I'm not actually losing my mind, but it means that I'm very frustrated by it. It bothers me. It irritates me in a certain way. You could say, this broken code is driving me crazy. It is driving me nuts. Driving me crazy, driving me nuts, driving me insane, driving me up the wall. You can use all of those in that way. All right, so that's that type. That is banging your head against a problem and not having a solution to it, and it's a continuing, ongoing thing. Very common usage there. What about the other kind of being annoyed? Can we use it for that? Well, for this one, it might be more like a pet peeve. P-E-T-P-E-E-V-E, pet peeve. A pet peeve is when something annoys us that may not be annoying to everybody, right? For example, I do not like the sound of people chewing. I hate it. It annoys me. It bothers me. It is my pet peeve. It is a pet peeve that I have. Some people don't mind it. I have a lot of friends who watch mukbang. Started in Korea, I think. They have a bunch of food here, and they just eat it for 25 minutes next to the microphone. It's disgusting. I hate it. I hate the sounds. I don't like it at all. It drives me crazy. It drives me up the wall. It drives me nuts. It drives me insane. It irritates me. It annoys me. It bothers me. It is my pet peeve. So that's that kind of thing. That's not a problem I'm confronting in the way that I can't, the problem of not being able to fix my code. This is a thing that's happening around me, a fly buzzing around my head. Someone making horrible eating sounds near me, right? When I'm eating food and I'm having dinner with you, I'm looking at your eyes or looking down at my food. Notice I will not be looking at your mouth. And if you start opening your mouth, I'll say, can you please close your mouth when you chew? Because I hate that sound. I don't know why. It's gross. It grosses me out. It drives me up the wall. Now, what's your pet peeve? What bothers you? What irritates you? What drives you crazy? What drives you up the wall? That's how it's used too. So you can use it in either way, either case, either situation. Doesn't matter. Very common expression. Very common phrase. Hopefully that's clear now. Korchi, very good one. Thank you for asking. If you guys haven't already, I would appreciate if you could hit the thumbs up button. That would be really great because it lets people know to come and watch and join. And also subscribe so that you can see future videos. If you don't subscribe, you probably won't see when future videos happen or are posted. And don't forget to check out my full English courses in the links in the description. Okay. Great question. Korchi, hopefully I've said your name correctly. I apologize if I didn't, but it's a great question anyway. Keep learning with classical methods. We won't speak like them. Yeah. I want to try Luke's accent. Hey guys, this is Luke. I'm from America. Welcome to this live class. And today we're going to be talking about English language learning bats. And we're going to be answering English questions. And this is my American accent. What is the meaning of would love to and would hate to? Well, we wouldn't really say would hate to. When you are willing to do something and you want to show your willingness, you say, yeah, I'd love to. Do you want to go swimming? Yeah, I'd love to. Could you help me with this? Yeah, I'd love to. But we don't say I would hate to, unless we're talking about things that we really want to avoid. I would hate to see you fail. I would hate to. We wouldn't use it in the same kind of situation. It's not the opposite, in other words. It's a different situation that it's used in. Should we do that one? Let me scroll down and see. Someone who complains or causes problems is more likely to receive attention or help than someone who stays quiet and does not cause problems. That's right. Kim Poi is 100% right. I would love to get a cup of tea, but I would hate doesn't exist, I guess, says Mohammed. Now I feel like I have to talk about it because it's not the opposite, but it exists. MD Abdu Hanif says, what is the meaning of would love to and would hate to? And I want to be very clear that these are not opposites in a certain way, right? In the way that I like it and I don't like it are opposites. How do you feel about ice cream? I like it. I don't like it. Opposite feelings. Used in the same situation. Do you like ice cream? I like it. I don't like it. Same situation, opposite expressions to express opposite things. But these two are different. I would love to, and I would hate to. You might think, okay, how are they different? They look the same, except for the love-hate, right? But they are different, so let's talk about the differences. We use I would love to when we want to show eagerness, willingness, excitement, enthusiasm. We get an invitation. You want to come with us tomorrow? We're going hiking. I would love to, but I'm busy. But you're showing willingness. I would love to. Yes, what time? Right? Hey, do you think you could help me for a few minutes? Yeah, sure, I'd love to. I'd love to help you. I'd love to help you. Now, it's not as common if someone gives you something. Hey, Do you want a piece of chocolate? I'd love to have a piece of chocolate. No, probably not. We might say, yeah, sure. We probably wouldn't say, I'd love to accept something. We usually say, I'd love to show enthusiasm, right? We can talk about our desires and our wishes that way. We can say, I'd really love to buy a house next year. I'd really love to buy a house next year. Our desire, our wish for the future, right? I'd love to go outside for a walk, but I have to stay inside right now because of the whole thing happening with the pandemic. I'd love to go out right now, but I can't. We're showing our willingness, our desire, our intentions for the future, our emotions, our feelings. Now, I would hate to is not used for this kind of situation. We wouldn't say, I would hate to go out for a walk tomorrow. That's weird. Hey, do you want to go hiking? I would hate to go hiking. So no, that is not right. That's not how we use it. Hey, could you help me fix this thing? I would hate to help you. No, we don't use it like that. All right? Okay, Kathy, got it? We don't use it like that. How do we use it then? Sometimes it's used to talk about possibilities and that would be a negative thing if that happened. But it's not usually that we're involved with it. When we talk about liking, I would love to. I would like that. That would be great. We're talking about our involvement in that. Usually when we say, I would hate to, we usually want to say, I would hate to see something happen. I'm not involved. It would just be very bad or negative if that thing happened out there in the world, right? So you have two friends and they're married and their relationship isn't so good. And you're talking with someone else about their relationship. I really hate to see them get divorced. I would hate to see that. That would be so sad. Right? Or you have a dream. You dream, working hard for your dream. You want to be an actor or an actress. You've been working at it for 10 years and you still haven't succeeded. You're explaining your feeling. I might give up and just get a job as a dentist. Actor turned dentist, Reginald Barkley. And so you say, I'm thinking about giving up on this. And I say, I would really hate to see that. You've been working so hard on your acting career. I would hate to see you give up on your career now. You've got some great auditions coming up. I think you should keep going. Keep going. Don't give up. Right? So we're talking about not our involvement. I'm not going to give you an acting job. I'm not going to be an actor with you or anything like that. I'm watching it, right? And usually we add something like see, sometimes hear, right? Find out. I would hate to find out that you've been, I would hate to find out that you've been secretly using the money that I give you to buy cigarettes. That's a terrible example, but you get the idea. Hate to see, hate to find out, hate to learn, that sort of thing. But it's not that I'm doing something. You're doing something, and I'm observing it, and that would be a bad thing. So that's how it's used. They're different situations. They look exactly opposite, but they're not because of how they're used and the situations they're used in. Hopefully that's clear. This is a very good question, actually. It is a good question. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit this one. That would be great. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can see future videos and check out my full courses in the links in the description. That would be much appreciated, especially if you're a serious English learner. You won't regret it, I promise. Recently, we passed 50,000 students learning from my courses. 50,000. So if you want to become one of those 50,000 students learning English, sign up. You won't regret it. All right. Good question. I like it. Could you please tell me how to improve my intermediate level to advanced? I don't know how I would answer that. Other than, you've got to intermediate to advanced is when you start talking, with having conversations and having a fully English environment. Maybe I can get to that one, but let me check out Gertie's question. Luke, could you please explain to me how I can use be, supposed to, I am supposed to, be, I'm meant to? The difficulty with this one, Gertie, the difficulty with this one is that it is meant to is used in British English in a very different way than it is used in American English, right? We say meant to when we want to say something didn't happen, and we want to say I'm usually we won't put be in front of it. We'll just say I meant to do that, but it didn't happen. I intended that, but that didn't happen. And British English, as far as I know, uses more like I was meant to express maybe it still will happen. I meant to do that tomorrow, in fact. So I don't feel confident enough to tell you how that's used with the verb be there, because I feel like that's a better question for maybe a British or Australian native English speaker than me, just because we don't really use it in that way. We usually use I or subject plus meant directly to mean intention, right? So I'm not sure if I can give a good answer to that. I don't know if I'm qualified. All right, GB Plus's question. This is a pronunciation question. I don't know why you'd want to say forever anyway, but whatever. Kathy. Congrats for the contents. Do you usually go live weekly? Yes, Rod. 2 or 3 times a week we go live. Yep, that's right. Koji Takeda says, hi, didn't get the notification. What? I'm going to go to YouTube, and I'm going to yell at those people at YouTube. People subscribe, you're not giving them notifications, YouTube? What's the point of you? YouTube? Nah. That's exactly what I'm going to do, Takeda. I'm going to go to YouTube, I'm going to be the squeaky wheel. Can you tell me the best the grammar book for non-native speakers like me to improve writing and speaking? I don't think that grammar books are a good idea. I don't believe in grammar books. Books, yes. Grammar books? No. The only thing I can honestly from my heart recommend, because I don't think grammar books are a good way to learn English in general, if you want to be a good writer, then I suggest that you purchase a book called The Elements of Style. The Elements of Style by Strunk and White. Very short book. It's a book that focuses on English writing. If you want to become a more effective writer, that would be the book to choose. It can really teach you a lot of basic principles, but it is not a basic level grammar book. And I don't even know that I think grammar books are a good idea, right? I don't necessarily recommend grammar books, and I certainly don't know any that are good. If someone can show me a grammar book that actually teaches natural grammar and teaches people really how to use it, I am all ears. I have yet to see one. I'm working on a grammar course, but it's more like examples, talking through it with lots of examples. It's not in the sort of traditional style. I don't want to be good in this is not related to English, but has anyone told you that you look like Johnny Depp? Yeah, I don't want to say yes. People have said that, but I don't agree. You know what people tell me I look like? If you've ever seen the TV show Prison Break, they tell me I look like T-Bag from Prison Break. They say, you look like T-Bag. Unfortunately, T-Bag is a murderer, rapist, horrible criminal person. So that's who I look like. I look like a horrible person, who's also, by the way, 50 or 60 years old. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Wahid says, I need to speak with you every day. Is possible? Sorry, Wahid. I don't do that sort of lesson. But if you can find a language partner that you can speak to every day, that would certainly be a good idea. Absolutely. I would recommend it. Strongly recommend that. But I'm not your guy, unfortunately. Yeah, AK. I mean, if it's just, do I have it on my bookshelf? Maybe it's in the other room. If it's just writing, definitely check out that book. It's this long. It's very short, but it's so good. It's so good. The Elements of Style. The Elements of Style. But it's not just for English learners. I mean, I read it many times. Okay. GB Plus says, hello. After learning English for many years, I still cannot feel the difference between forever and forever. Could you please explain it? Okay, sure. Well, one would be that some people will separate these two out, right? They will say forever, forever. I feel like I've been waiting forever. And actually, that would be incorrect. It should be the second one. I feel like I've been waiting forever. Yeah. When would you say forever with the space anyway? I'm trying to think of when we would actually use that. All right. Well, I'm assuming you have a way to use it. I can't think of a good example right now. But, I'm sorry, I keep getting these notifications. Turn off notifications. I don't want to hear notifications. All right. So, I've been waiting forever. Forever. One word. Forever. 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 Rever. Notice that the re jumps, the R jumps directly into the next sound. Re. Forever. 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 I'm not saying forever. Forever. I'm saying forever. Forever. So instead of thinking of this as two words smashed together, for and ever, smashed, I'm thinking of it more like f, and then the second piece is the rever piece, not the ever piece, is the rever piece. That's what I like to do when I like to teach how to make words blend together better. Break your brain a little bit. You think of it as separate words. Stop that. Don't think of it as separate words. Instead, think of it as things that are blended together in different ways. Instead of breaking it at for and ever, let's break it at f and rever. Why not? We can do that. Forever, forever, rever. Okay, so that's that one. Now the other one, and again, I'm not quite sure how you would use it by itself, for and ever. Some people will break it. Forever, forever, forever. Now, I think the real question is, what if we're going to put those together? What if we're going to blend the sounds? Because many people will, because is a voiced sound and is a voiced sound. So while some people will say forever, forever, and again, I'm not quite sure how you're putting those into a sentence because I can't think of a good example off the top of my head. If you want to do it, you can still do it and differentiate it from the single word forever, forever. Listen. Forever, 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 forever. So, how do we do that? First one, for and ever, instead of focusing on the re sound first, focus on the e. So it's forever, 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 ever, ever, ever. The other one probably is going to focus on the re sound first. Forever, rever, rever, right? So the sound is lower for the two words separately, and the sound is higher when it's one word pushed together, okay? This is all beside the fact that I don't know how you put for and ever together in a sentence. I can't think of any good examples of when you might want to do that. But that's how you would differentiate the sounds, probably, if someone was going to say those side by side. That's how you would hear it by itself. Very close, though. Very, very close. And I think most people would probably do the small pause. They would say forever, 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 forever. But some people will pronounce the second one, forever. They'll pronounce it forever, forever as well. Because there's variation. There isn't one standard pronunciation for every single thing that people say. There isn't. That's just a fact. There are many ways to say words that are technically correct, right? For example, usually. Usually. Some people say usually, and that's technically correct. I believe if you check in the dictionary, you will hear both of those as the standard pronunciation. So there isn't only one way to say things. Hopefully that kind of answers your question. And if you can give me an example with for and ever together, I would be very eager to see it. Guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe so that you can see future videos, and check out the full English courses in the links in the description. Good. All right. I don't want to be rude, so that's what Takeda says. That's cool. Am I missing any comments here? Am I missing any questions? No more videos about Elsa Speak? Do you want more videos about Elsa Speak? What else would I talk about Elsa Speak other than the fact that it's not bad? It's not bad. Actually, the people at Elsa Speak emailed me after the video, and they wanted to ask if they could kind of maybe, I don't know, sponsor a video or something. I'm not quite sure. I didn't get back to them, but they got in touch with me because of the previous video, the company. I didn't respond. This is an interesting question from Sergio. I'm going to go with Sergio because Sergio has yet to correct me on it. Sergio says, from the top of my head, what you have just said, does it mean from the back of my mind? Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. When we say, actually, usually it's off the top of my head, right? Off the top of my head. Some people might say but usually it's off the top of my head. Or in the back of my mind. Actually, these two are very separate, very different. Let's talk about how they're used and what they mean. If someone says, I just came up with it, off the top of my head, off the top of my head, it means something is spontaneous. Something is in the moment. You didn't plan it. You come up with it right here, right now, right? Like my reply to this question. Right? When I answer these questions, I don't have time to prepare for them because you just asked the question and I'm just answering it. So everything I'm saying, everything that's coming out of my mouth right now in my explanation of these two is off the top of my head, right? So there's an element of spontaneity or improvisation or thinking on your feet or explaining something in the moment that you just grab as though it were sitting on top of your head, right? Now, sometimes, like I've used in the past, sometimes we'll say it when we can't think of anything. There are times when people ask me questions, and I know that there might be a good example of how to use this grammar that would fit, but because someone has just asked me and I haven't had time to think about it, I can't think of anything. I can't think of how it would work off the top of my head. Let me do some research and get back to you. Let me think about it and get back to you. Let me look it up online and get back to you. That happens, right? Sometimes a question is a little complicated, like the word though, right? And I need to really think about it and work on it for a couple days. Sometimes. Now with this question, it's relatively straightforward. I know it. I know how to explain it. It's easy to explain. I can give examples and explain it off the top of my head. No big deal, right? So that's how we would use it. Okay. If we have a group of people together and they're maybe talking about what they're going to do tomorrow, they have a plan. Someone says, why don't we go hiking at Bull Hill tomorrow? Well, where'd you get that idea? I just got it off the top of my head. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Why not? Sounds good. Someone is being spontaneous. Now, in the back of my mind is different. There's no relationship between these two phrases. If something is in the back of your mind, it's there in your consciousness, but you're probably not talking about it or mentioning it. And often we describe being in a situation and having a thing there that is unspoken, What do I mean by there? In your thoughts, swimming in your thoughts, right? Whenever I meet him, in the back of my mind, I remember what he said to me 10 years ago, the insult that he made, and how much it hurt me. In the back of my mind, I'm always thinking that, even though now we are colleagues and we're even good friends. Sometimes that comes up, and it's always in the back of my mind. Okay? In the back of my mind suggests it's just sort of in my awareness, even though it's unmentioned, unspoken, right? Sometimes you want to use that to remind somebody to do something or have something there, maybe to protect them. Just sort of keep it in the back of your mind. Keep it in the back of your mind that there are a lot of people on that street who are going to try to scam you. All right, so you're going to a place where there are a lot of tourists, and I'm giving you advice about where to go. There's a really cool restaurant on this street. Let's say we're talking about Bali, okay? Bali is a very cool place, very cool island. When you go there, there's a great restaurant. They have Thai food, or there's another one. Maybe they have great Indonesian food, whatever it is. Just keep in the back of your mind, though, that there are some people walking around trying to scam you, trying to get you to maybe sign up for things or buy things that are actually a lot more expensive than they should be. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Keep that in your awareness as you walk around on the street in Bali, maybe trying to find the restaurant that I recommend. I'm giving you that as some advice. Before, when I was talking about my friend, we're colleagues, we're friends, but this person said something very insulting to me 10 years ago, and it still kind of floats around in there when I'm in a situation where we're talking about something or discussing something. It's in the back of my mind. So it's very useful for warnings, recommendations, and just describing how we feel in a situation with someone or when we're in a situation with others. That's usually how it's used. But these two, just to be clear, off the top of my head, and not from, off the top of my head, and in the back of my mind, they're different. Very, very different. Hopefully that's clear. Sergio, good question. Guys, thumbs up. Don't forget. Also, subscribe and check out my courses in the links in the description. Okay. Racha, hello. Hello, Racha. Hello, 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 hello. I was wondering what the difference between problem and issue is. Could you please help me? Again, they're kind of the same. Let me think about how they would be different. I can't, off the top of my head, even though I know that they are different, come up with great examples that would express the difference in various situations. Issue. Problem. Whenever I get stuck and I don't have a good example that I can grab off the top of my head, do you know what I do? I go to the free dictionary. thefreedictionary.com. They always have very good examples. GB Plus says, thank you. The reason I asked was that I came across examples of forever in the written sentences while I used to write it as one word. I thought forever is something like for forever. No. Who writes it as two words? That seems strange to me. That seems weird. Let's see here. Let's see what examples the free dictionary pops up for issue. Why is my computer running so slowly? God. I think it might be time for me to get a new computer. I'm getting frustrated. Even though I have... It's a 2018 MacBook Pro. It's constantly too slow. It drives me crazy. It's time. It's time. What does it mean squeaky wheel gets the grease? Mohammed, we already talked about that. I answered that question today. You missed it. We talked about it, dude. You have to scroll back, or you know what? I do post clips of most of the questions that I answer on a separate channel. So if you go to my main page, you can subscribe to the highlights channel, and I post a new one every single day. Actually, there are two things going on in that channel now. This sounds a little weird, but this is what I've done. That's kind of like a play box channel for me. So the second channel, and you can just go to the Cloud English YouTube channel and then click on the right side, recommended, or related or recommended. One of them is English Lessons by Cloud English. That one has every day, usually, one of the questions from the live streams posted for those of you who missed them. I've had a lot of requests. Hey, can you post those separately? So I do. One per day. I try to. And also, I'm doing an experiment where I have previous videos on a loop. If you want to just sort of relax and watch something live, learn English live and not really focus, not click on videos, it's a 24-hour sort of English language learning channel. And it's actually over 24 hours of videos that just play in order in a playlist. And I'm going to always be adding to the playlist. So it'll get longer and longer. Eventually, it'll cycle around maybe once a month. That's my goal. It goes around one time per month. One time per month. Not quite there yet. It's about a day now. But we'll get there. We'll get there. The meaning of the verb smite. Smitten. I don't know about that one. It's so uncommon. Issue. What's illegal? Idioms. Yeah. Haha, so we have it in common. My computer drives me crazy too. Yes, we do have that in common. Especially recently. Sorry guys, hold on a second. I'm trying to decide if I want to even talk about this, because it might be one of those questions that's better for me to prepare, you know, because it is kind of complex. 2 words. Yeah. You know what? For the question and issue thing, I'm going to hold off, Rod, because it's a little complicated, and I feel like if I tried to answer it off the top of my head, I would miss a lot, my examples would suck, and it wouldn't be clear. So I think I'm going to write that down in my videos list, and I will make a separate video about that, if that's cool with you. I will actually do a video on that topic, because it is a good topic and it is a good question. It's just that I don't think it would be particularly responsible of me to just sort of hack away at it and ultimately not make it clear. Issue versus problem. Okay. Yeah, that's not so simple, that one. Not so simple. Okay. Koji says, which is better to pursue for fluency or accurate pronunciation? That's a good question, Koji. It's a broad question, but I like it. Koji Takeda says, which is better to pursue fluency or accurate pronunciation? Now, I have to say that to an extent, it's up to you. What do you want? What are your goals? So my general statement would be, you have to know what you're going for in order to make steps toward whatever that is. If you want to be able to watch movies and understand everything that everybody is saying, then make goals around that, and then you can start working on a lifestyle and habits that take steps toward that goal. If your goal is to be able to communicate effectively with your colleagues at work, what does that involve? Does that involve knowing more idioms and phrases because they use a lot? Knowing work-specific vocabulary? Does it involve honing your listening skills so that you don't misunderstand things? Does it involve more clear pronunciation? Because people frequently misunderstand you. Then those are your goals, and you need to take steps toward those. So I'm not here to say, let me tell you what your goals are. I will tell you what your goals are, and then you follow what I think your goals should be. You should decide that for yourself. What are the issues that you have? And then what are the things inside of those issues that you can start making strides toward? We've talked before about improving your listening skills. If you struggle to understand many of the things that your colleagues in your English-speaking company say because they speak too quickly or whatever it is, then okay, you need to improve your listening. How do you do that? Well, then you do the exercise where you listen to a clip every day and you try to write down all the words there, right? And you learn idioms and expressions because many of the things you don't understand are also idioms and expressions that are being used that you just don't know. That is how to improve your listening. So that's the big answer, right? That's the main answer. It's up to you. You need to decide. But it's very important for you to go through that process. Because if you just say, today I'll learn a little English here, I'll learn a little English there, I'll learn a few words, learn a few expressions, I'm just wandering around, blah, blah, blah. Well, then you're taking 2 steps over there, and 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 2 steps over there. You're not going anywhere, right? So the first thing is to establish your goal. Then the steps that you take can be in a specific direction toward the goal. You have a star that you can look at so that you're actually making progress. And hopefully then you can measure your progress. All right, so that's one. Now the actual question here, what I think is better to pursue, accurate pronunciation or fluency. Now I'm not sure exactly how to separate those two things, but I assume by fluency you mean the ability to speak clearly without thinking too much and use the language naturally, right, without having to think in your language and translate. That's what I assume you mean by fluency. And pronunciation just means the sounds of the words that you're saying. Are they clear? Right? So I would say that as long as people understand you well, then you're kind of okay for pronunciation unless you really want to get good, right? You're okay. Everybody has their own goals. I leave the door open for that. Of course, I'm not here to tell you what your goals should be, but if you find people are saying, sorry, what? Can you say that again? Sorry, what? Please repeat yourself. Then you have to work on your pronunciation. If you've never had that issue and people can hear that you're from Japan when you speak, but they're able to understand you, then is it really the highest priority? I would say probably not, if they can understand you. Instead, maybe your goal should be something like, how can I use the language effectively without having to translate in my head, and I can use some idioms and phrases, I can express my meaning without feeling tired, and I can do that with relative ease. That's more like fluency, in which case I would say that should be the priority, right? So I'm not the type of teacher who will say, everyone must sound like an American. In fact, I think it's weird if someone tries to copy exactly an American. I think it's good to try to learn to speak more clearly and to move closer to a sort of international neutral sound so that people can't clearly point out, very, very strong Chinese accent. But at least it's clear and sounds relatively neutral, right? That's good to work toward. But a higher priority still, I think, would be using the language with ease, without having to work hard, without having to translate. That should be, I think, a higher priority, right? So work toward both, make specific goals around both, try to take steps toward both, but maybe on your list, place the fluency one on a slightly higher level. That would be my advice. Unless in your daily life, you find that no one can understand what you're saying because of your pronunciation, because it's so strong. People say, I'm sorry, I don't understand you. If that's the problem, then maybe focus on that more. But you have to evaluate that for yourself. I don't know how strong your accent is. So just something to think about. Make sure you work on your goals. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Also, check out my full courses in the links in the description. Good, good, good. Very good question. How about dangle a carrot? And which way to use this expression? So many question marks, Mohammed. So many question marks. Dangling a carrot in front of someone is giving someone what's called an incentive. Maybe we can talk about that. Maybe that'll be the last question. Yeah, let's make this the last question. Korchi says, oh, wrong question. Korchi says, how about to dangle a carrot? And in which way do we use this expression? In which way do we use this expression? Because there are many question marks. When I see many question marks, I assume I'm being shouted at. So I assume that you're shouting at your computer screen. If so, then you have communicated effectively with your many question marks. So, have you ever heard this expression, to dangle a carrot? It's actually fairly common. You often hear carrot or stick. Carrot or stick. This is sort of a horse-related reference, okay? How do you make a horse move? Well, one way is to hold a carrot in front of the horse, and the horse goes, ooh, carrot, and walks toward the carrot. The other is to hit the horse from the back with a stick. Whoosh, whoosh, ah! And the horse moves because it doesn't like the pain. So one is moving towards something it wants. Two is trying to get away from something it doesn't want or doesn't like or is painful. So when someone says dangling a carrot, dangle is how something hangs. To dangle is like this. Dangle a carrot. They're giving you something attractive, or at least showing you something attractive, so that you will maybe do something, or that you might consider a possibility, consider doing something, right? Okay, what would that be? Well, let's say that you have a company, right? And it's a very new company. You just started it. And you want to get people really excited about joining the company, right? But at the beginning, you can't pay them a lot of money, right? But you can give them some equity in the company, some ownership in the company. So it's a new company. It could be very valuable. They could make a lot of money. So that would be dangling a carrot in some way to get them to become excited and passionate about joining the company, even though their salaries are relatively low. Now, there are a couple different ways to look at that. One, dangling the carrot could be a kind of trick, like, haha, I'm dangling the carrot in front of you to give you a potential reward. You don't have it yet. Come on, here, kitty, kitty. Come on, come on. To get them to go with you, to get them to be excited about something, but then you say, ha, there's no carrot, and you never give them the reward. Or you genuinely mean it, right? You genuinely want them to get this thing, and you all want to work toward that together. It's true, right? It's a real reward that can be achieved, but everyone has to work hard and move toward that together. Now, dangling sometimes suggests, maybe more often suggests that sort of the trickier way, the sneakier way. Oh, you were dangling the carrot in front of me. You kept dangling a new carrot. Every time I got to that point, you would dangle another carrot, right? You said you would pay me a huge bonus if I reached $1 million per month for my sales quota. You said that I would get a huge bonus, but I didn't get the bonus. The next time when I reached it, you said you would give me a bigger bonus if I reached another future target. You keep dangling carrots in front of me and I never get any bonuses. Eventually, I'm going to stop believing that these carrots are real. So in that way, we're talking about some kind of trickery or sneaky behavior, which is not so good, right? Dangling carrots. Here, come on, you want this? Got to reach your target. Then you get to the target. Ha, there's another one over here. Sorry, you didn't get that one, but you can get this one. Ha, try to get that one. There's that sense of always making someone reach for something and never giving it to them. That's a kind of like scam or trickery, which is not ideal, obviously. But dangling is the thing that suggests that when we use dangling by itself. Overall, we use the word incentive, What is your incentive? Your incentive is the reason you do something. What is your incentive? My incentive is I feel like I'm doing work that gives me a sense of joy and meaning in my life. That is my incentive for doing the work I do. What is your incentive? My incentive is that I get a giant bonus at the end of every year. So I work hard so that I can get that giant bonus so that I can buy a new swimming pool. Oh, okay. That's your reason for doing what you do. But an incentive doesn't mean you automatically get it. It is your reason for doing that. It is the attractive thing that you're going after. It is the carrot that you're trying to reach. Whether it's being dangled in a sneaky way or whether it's just a carrot that's there that you're moving toward, that you want to get, that you want to achieve. And then negative feedback or negative reinforcement is the stick. You didn't do your job. Punishment. You're late, 5 minutes late. Fine. Negative reinforcement. Carrot could be positive. The dangling has a negative connotation, but the carrot in general as a method is a positive connotation. It's encouraging. It's called positive reinforcement. The stick, punishment. If you do bad things, negative reinforcement. Carrot and stick. Okay? Hopefully that's clear, Korchi. Hopefully I answered your question. It's a good one. If you guys have any other questions, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button. I would sincerely appreciate that. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can see future videos and check out my full courses, my full English courses in the links in the description if you're interested in improving your English very seriously and very quickly. All right. Good one. Eventually is a word that gets me as well. Will end up fit as a synonym? Eventually, huh? Very common word. Thank you so much for your lessons and the courses you already purchased. Oh, awesome. GB Plus, good to hear it. GB Plus is a student of my courses. Good news. Good news. All right, guys. I think we're going to call it a day. Excuse me. I'm hungry. Haven't eaten anything. I'm very hungry. So I'm going to go have some breakfast. Guys, if I didn't answer your question this time, think about it and let me know how maybe I can answer them next time. Pop them in next time. I would really appreciate if you guys want to check if you miss previous live streams and you want to see the live streams, it would be awesome if you want to check those out to open up the Clips channel and subscribe to that. So if you subscribe to that second channel, every day you'll get a new video. It's a short video, one of these questions. If you miss a live stream, at least you can get those clips. And the channel is relatively new, but if you're interested in getting those, you can subscribe to that one. So make sure you do that. It's called, what is the channel called? Learning English Lessons by Cloud English, maybe? English Lessons by, I forget the name of my own channel. Anyway, go to the main Cloud English YouTube channel. Click on the right side. You can see the second channel. You could subscribe there. Then you can get the daily clips. And if you just want to sit back and relax, the live stream. Okay? Thanks, guys, for watching. Thanks for the awesome questions. I appreciate that. Thanks for being patient when the stream crashed earlier. I appreciate that, too. If you guys have suggestions for other videos or topics you want me to talk about, please let me know. I'll see you guys next week. Although there will be a new video posting in about 6 hours. In about 6 hours, a new video will be posting for the week. So check that out, guys. And I will see you next time.